Recent power blackouts in the capital city of Port Moresby has brought back to light the age-old issues of PNG power. But for most residents of Port Moresby, it is understood that the introduction of new power generation entities should have helped improve the access of uninterrupted power supply. These sentiments were put forward by a member for Abau, Puka Temu, a resident of Port Moresby. He wanted clarification on why there are a number of power generation companies and yet power blackouts.
Our view on the opposition is there is sufficient generation of power. For example, in the city. 2019, the 50 megawatt power planned by Allset also is online. 2020, the 40 megawatt Dirio power, I think recently, I think only last week, after so many months, is now online. And so we believe on this side of the house that so far as generation is concerned, there is sufficient generation.
In response to the question, Prime Minister James Marape highlighted that PNG Power owed independent power producer Niu Power outstanding bills which forced PNG Power into load shedding, causing blackouts in parts of the city.
The Dirio power installation will supply about 27 megawatt, but there's a teething issue in as far as the step up and uplift of the power and feed into the grid. There's no connectivity to Port Moresby because the current connection from the existing generation site where Niu Power and Dirio operate side by side can only uplift what is being generated by ExxonMobil and Niu Power. The latest bout of blackouts has stemmed from the fact that I think Niu Power decided to switch off supply, and I've asked Niu Power not to do this. They switched off because we have not paid them bills for the last 5 years again.
PNG Power has outstanding bills and is also owed millions by customers. Compounded with management issues, it has suffered a lot. But there seems to be a light at the end of all the blackouts, with a new board to be in place.
The infrastructures are aging. Most of the infrastructures have been the same infrastructure we've had since 1975 or since whenever it was all built. That those issues in PNG Power will be addressed hopefully around Christmas. The Minister for State and Enterprises would announce the new boards and the new direction in which PNG Power will go.
Marape made it known that there is some funding on the way from ADB to support state-owned entities in the country.
There's a $250 million ADB program coming not just for PNG Power but our state-owned enterprises. And when that is funneled through, PNG Power will receive a substantial part of that allocation so that we make big intervention and places like Port Moresby and those who live in and out of Port Moresby grids can have access to reliable power, because that is the quickest and easiest place of paying bills and bills collected.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.